Now, in terms of code syntax, HashiCorp Terraform uses HCL language, while CloudFormation uses YAML or JSON. So we say they are declarative. That is, what you see is what you get. While in imperative, you say what you want, then the rest is being filled up for you. But Terraform falls in between the middle, that is partially declarative and partially imperative. And that's why it's very, very good for you to go for it. Then in terms of dynamic future, Terraform support dynamic future in the sense that maybe instead of you deploying, you want to deploy many instances instead of you writing the code again, it doesn't do that for you. You just say, okay, this was one, then you use for each, all those stuff like that. Then you just write the code and tell him, okay, I want you to provide me with 3 servers with different parameters, and it's going to do that. It's going to iterate it for you. But in CloudFormation, you can't do that. You have to specify the code again all over again. So that's one of the different types of dynamic fusion. And in terms of usage function, Terraform is extensive because it uses part of imperative and declarative. So that's one of the advantage of Terraform. But compared to CloudFormation, it's highly limited because all you just need to do is declarative. What you see is what you get. Then state management. When it comes to state management, you're talking about the fact that there's a present state and there's a state desired state that you want. So you are in a present state and you want to configure a desired state. So the state has to exist. You have to be in a state first before you go into the desired state. So that's one of it. But in CloudFormation, you don't need, no state is required to maintain. No, you don't need that. And that's one of the reasons why we say Terraform is independent in the sense that maybe you created 2 servers and by the time you want to update it, it's not going to create another server. So that means making it for no, it's not going to do that. It's just going to remain that true. It's not going to create anyone with it because maybe if you want to update, it's just going to update it, stop the instance, then load it again. That's all. It doesn't change. The parameter doesn't change. But when it comes to CloudFormation, it's non-independent in the sense that if you run your code again, it's going to create another server for you. So that's one of the disadvantages of using CloudFormation. Then, in terms of cloud providers, I already talked about it. It supplies multiple provider support in terms of the Azure, AWS, GCP, and the rest like that. But when it comes to CloudFormation, it only supports AWS resources. Enterprise support is open source. Open. Maybe you have a problem by configuring across multiple providers, then you can actually contact open source, then they will help you out with it. But in CloudFormation, because you're only dealing with AWS, then you can just go directly into AWS services, support services, so they can actually help you out. Then in terms of automating infrastructure as a code, then they are both complex to automate without tooling. That's one thing you need to know about. Then how does Terraform works? Terraform, I already said it. I said it has 2 states. There's a desired state and there's a present state. So Terraform core is divided into 2. That's the desired state and the present state. We call them Terraform states. That's TF state and Terraform configuration file.tf. So there's a state that already existed and there's a state that you want to go into. So you have to take note of that. So anytime you run your Terraform init and Terraform apply, then that means you want to move from the desired state to the new state. So that's one thing it does. So Terraform core moves you right in there. And we have the providers. That's okay, which provider do I want to configure my resources? They say Amazon, they say Microsoft Azure, it says Google Cloud Platform, it say Kubernetes, the stuff like that. So that's one thing you need to know, that's how Terraform works. Then what are the Terraform life cycles? Then we are talking about the likes of Terraform init, then you run Terraform plan, you have validate, you have apply, you have destroy. Those are the 5 keywords that you need to know in Terraform that you might really use. Then we have others like Terraform format, Terraform refresh. But basically, what you need to know is init, Terraform init, the plan, the apply, the validate, and the destroy. We don't really use validate because by the time you run your plan, it automatically does the function of validate. But sometimes you doesn't need to use it. Format, and what does format do? Format just make sure it's following a particular syntax. So that's what it does. The anytime you run Terraform init, it means, you want to create your state. That's what that's to do. Okay, setting up everything for you. Okay, setting up the environment that, okay, this is what he wants to do. Then we have plan. Okay, this just want to show you like this, you want to create a resource. So this is the resource you want to create. And okay, do you want to go with it? If you want to go with it, then you apply. You click on apply. Okay, then it's going to ask you confirmation that okay, is it true that you want to apply? Then you have to say yes. But if you don't want to ask him to ask you, just Terraform apply or to approve. So he's going to just skip that process, then just apply it immediately. And once you are done, you just say Terraform destroy, and it's going to destroy the resources that you have created. So that's what you need to know. From a configuration file state to is to the state that you want to the desired state. So that's what you need to know. And let's take a look into the practical session so that we can. Okay, so I have a code writing here, and what we actually want to do is we want to create an instance, and we want the instance to output the public IP address for us. So then we are going to run the instance. So that's what I actually want to do. So I've actually made the code in a way that is very easier for us to understand the basic concept of Terraform for that's for beginners. Now we have the required providers right in here. So we want to use AWS. So we have to specify provider. So the provider I want to use is AWS, and it's going to update this version for us. So by the time we click on Terraform init, it's going to install this provider for us. So let me open the terminal for us. So let's take a look at it. So before this thing can work, you have to configure your access key and split access key. So you can just say AWS configure. There are two ways to go about it. So AWS configure will just like open the terminal for you to fill in the access key and split access key. It's still loading. As you can see, say I should put my access key. I already have one right in there before. Like that. So but if you don't want to use this, you can just slot in it right in here, the access key and display access key. You put it right in here. If you want to put it, just slot it right in there. But I already have it right in here, so I don't really need to do that. But in case you want to do yours, you just put it right in here. Then we have our provider is AWS. So these resources we are deploying to AWS. As you can see, you have to specify the provider. Any provider you want to use, you have to specify the provider. If you are using Azure, you also specify it right in here again that you are using Azure. Then anytime you want to declare your resources, you have to specify, okay, AWS instance. That's because you are deploying. That means the Terraform is going to understand that you want to deploy this into what AWS. But if you say Azure instance, then it's not really understand that, oh, you want to go and deploy this into Azure and it's related to Azure. So it needs to understand that. Now, data. When you use data, data simply means there's already existing resources in the AWS platform that is a VPC has already existed before, and I want to use that VPC. I want to deploy my resources to that VPC instead of creating a new one. Use data. Data. All I just need to do is get the VPC ID, and that's all. So, that's for the data aspect of it. Then when it comes to the instance is this, and I'm telling it that, oh, this is my IAM ID, that's resource. I want you to create a new instance, that's resource. You use resource whenever you want to create a new instance. We have tags and we have it like the key name. I already have the key name already, so I just specify the name, the instance type, and the likes like that. So outputs, you just say output, then what exactly do you want? This is the instance IP address, then which of it is the public IP address. So you have to specify them right in here that, okay, I actually want the public IP address. So this is how we go about it. I'm going to save, you say Control X. Then, so what I actually want to do now is, as you can see, I have many files right in here. So this is the Terraform log HCL, this is the Terraform main, this is the file we are dealing with, that.tf, this is the desired state. I want to actually see with this state, and this is state. So this is a present state. There's nothing right here, no resource has been created, no output, nothing. As you can see, nothing. So the present state is empty, and I want to go to a desired state, which is my main.tf. So if I run Terraform init, the first thing I have to do is Terraform init automatically. Assuming I've actually run this code before, that's why it's like this. Assuming I haven't run it, there's no Terraform init, there's no log file, nothing like that. So there's nothing like that. So by the time you run Terraform init, it's going to like, oh, okay, now if I run Terraform init, it's not going to work. Now let me run it for you. Uh, it's not going to work. It's going to tell you that there's no empty directory because I haven't actually moved to directory. So if you want to move into directory, you say cd, use cd to move into directory. Cd into the which directory are we moving into? That's 01 beginner. 01. So as you can see, I'm moving to that directory. So if I run Terraform in it now, as you can see, it's initializing the backend. So it's going to work. So it's like trying to prepare the floor for us. So it's reusing the previous version of HashiCorp Terraform that we have right here because it is Terraform states. So it's not really installed anything in. So I've run init now, everything has been done. So as you can see, the previous version, so that's what it does. It's okay, this is the provider you want to use, then the version it does that for you. So the next thing is to run Terraform plan. So that's this command that you actually need to know. So plan is going to like tell us, oh, what and what do we actually should we be expecting? How many resources is it going to create? How many updates? How many changes? How many destroys? So it's going to like tell us that. So as you can see, it's going to only add one resources, while the other one already existed before. So you have to click on that. It's going to output the IP address. So it's going to know that once it's done with that. So if I say Terraform apply is going to repeat the same process. So most times you can just go directly to Terraform apply. So it says, you actually want to perform this action. If I say yes, it's going to create the instance for us. So as you can see, it's creating the instance, and that's how you actually go about it. Now, this is just, if you continue this way in a situation whereby you have different, how should I call it? In a situation whereby you have many instances to create, many resources to create, then your work should be looking at and not like congested in such a way that you won't like someone else won't be able to work on the project. No, someone you should be able to like design in such a for easy modification whereby maybe in the future you want to update it. Then instead of it cause confusion for the person that probably wants to update in future, all you just need to do is like make things easier, and actually going to take a look at that as we go on. So basically today we this YouTube video we're just talking about introduction into Terraform. So now the results has been added. Now let me go into so let me go into my EC2 instance. So as you can see, one instance is running already. Instance in main. So this public IP address, let's compare it to the one that was out before us. It's considered that it's the same thing, so it's just created it right now. Now, how do you get the syntax for this? How do we know this is actually what we want? You can actually find this in Terraform registry. So let me show you something. So if you want to install Terraform, what you just need to do is install Terraform. Then you can come here. You see on Linux or on Windows, you can actually run it on terminals and stuff like that. So you can run this on your terminal. Then I actually wanted to create EC2 the time. So you just say Terraform EC2. It's going to take you to the registry. They have their own registry. So this will actually this with module. We come to module probably in the next YouTube video. What you actually want now is Terraform registry. But let's go inside first. Okay, so this is the situ aspect of it. This is the AMI, this is the instance, depending on whatever it is that you want to create. If you have any data, if you have want to create your resources, as you can see, you just copy this, then you go ahead and create your resources. So that's that about that. Then when it comes to the VPC, you have VPC right in here. It's right down here. So if you want to use a default subnet, if you want to use a default VPC, you got to create your own. Everything's right in there. The route table, security group, stuff like that. Subnet. And even if you want to use data, that's already existing resources you want to like call down them. Like VPC now, the VPC I use now, as you can see, just the data, then the ID of VPC. So that's all you just need to do. And it's as easy as that. So this is the public IP address, as you can see, it's still the same thing. So if I copy this right now and I open a new tab to run this, it's not going to work. It's not going to work now. As you can see, it says size cannot be reached. So all I just need to do is open my put again. I actually showed you guys how to go about this. So just say EC2 user. Then we SSH. So I already the KPI I uses was Samuda. So I already have the KPI right in here. So that's actually I want to call upon. So it's going to open terminal for us. So as we all know, the first statement is sudo su. So we are changing direction to the root user. After that, we say yum install updates. Install update. Let me take a look at the folder. I don't really cramp things up and like that. So okay, yum updates. So basically, I won't like be run this server. Just open the default server for us so that we can see that this how it works. So what this is going to do is going to like take a look at the and check if okay there's an update present and update it. So this is still updating. Then the next command you have to run is yum install updates. HTTP. So I won't be like running some on this. So I just want to start the default server. So if I reload the page, if I reload this page, let's take a look at what I was going to show. So this is the server is running already. And there's a way you can automate this. So Terraform is very useful in that. So now if I say, this is the code now. If I say Terraform, okay, let me show you something first. This is Terraform TF states. As you can see, it has created the resources. These are mode, is data, that's VPC. Then these are the resources that we created. So we have it right in here. These are shared IP address, stuff like that. So, this state we are presently now. So if I run Terraform plan, Terraform apply, let's so here now is only that actually added more resources, but this time around is going to like tell you that there's nothing to add because you're already in the present state. As you can see, it says zero add, zero change, and zero destroy. This is the instance IP address. That's the output because it actually existed before. Now the next thing is we're actually going to like destroy this. So if I want to destroy this now, I'll just say Terraform destroy. So I don't want him to ask me that should I do I actually want to like destroy this. So automatically it's going to destroy the resources that has already been created. So it's already destroying the resources already. As you can see, plan 001 to destroy because we only have one resources that we created ourselves. And the other one is just the existing VPC already. So it's destroying it. Now, I said there are ways of you like automating this thing. Is another way whereby you can just declare a variable. This we call it semi-pro because this not when the novice, when a beginner wants to move forward, he moves right into the stage first, second. So we declare a variable that's the image ID, the resources, the data. It's still the same thing, but this time around we are applying the variable so that probably in the future you just want to like update. So you just come right in here, then change whatever it is that you want to change here. Maybe you want to change the instance type or the image ID, you can actually change it right in here. So it says the results have already been destroyed. So if we take a look at this, let's take a look at the instance and let's reload. You see that the resource actually deleted. So it says terminated. So that's how it does it. So if I run this right now, it's not going to load again. So you have to take note of that. It's not going to load again. It's not loading. You just keep rolling that way and it's going to return an error. So the next thing is this is backup states. As you can see, it's a backup state. And we actually have a desired state right in here. So there's a state right in here, but this is a desired state. They want to achieve the state. So if I say Terraform, so the first thing I have to do is I have to change directory. And how do I change directory? This was 01 beginner. So if I run this, it's just going to run in this, it's going to run the file in this directory. So I have to change directory. I just cd dots. So it's going to take me back to the project directory. Then the next thing I just have to do is cd 02 7. So I've changed the directory, so you have to run Terraform init again. So you have to run Terraform init when it comes to this directory again. So once you have run Terraform init, the next thing, as we all know, is Terraform plan and less like that. So in a situation like this, whereby anytime you declare the variable with terraform.tf Terraform automatically reads the file for you. But if it is in another, if it's not in terraform.tf, maybe just put it like that.tf state, tf definitely you have to specify that, oh, look, you have to read this file with this main file so that you can be able to read it for you. So if I run, let me run Terraform plan. So it's going to read this variable for us. It's going to like tell us, oh, this is what we should be expecting. So there's a lot more you can actually do with Terraform, a lot more. Like so, I'm actually deploying a link to one AWS service right in here. So it says we want to add, and if you take a look at the resources you specify there, the AMI, the instance type, the key name, it was actually in another variable. So assuming I want to change this variable name now, assuming I say, okay, this variable, I want to like change the name. So if I want to rename it, I want to rename it to, let's say, yeah. Now, this is saved already. So if I run Terraform plan again, it's not going to read it. Let's take a look at it. It's not going to read it. You see, the image ID of the using server, I have to enter those values because I declared a variable. So and that's, I have to like start entering everything one by one. That's, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No. So what I actually want to do now is I want to ensure that it's going to read this file for us. So let me try and remember. I can't remember the code. Okay, so I do keep most of my important files right in here. Okay, so we're just gonna run this. So the file name is, so with what I just specified now, is going to like read that for that file. It's not going to ask us to input them this time around. And if you're having more than one, that's the same way you're going to specify them. So it's the reading file. As you can see, it's reading them already. So if scroll up, as you can see, we have to do everything has been fit for us. So that's how you go about it. So if I run it again, it's going to run the same thing for us. So, and Terraform format, if I say Terraform format, that's it. Now I actually want to do something right in here. I want to like remove this one from being in line with this. If I run that code. So let me save this. Let me come back right in here. If I run this, as you can see, it already did this for us. So if I say Terraform validate, it's just going to check whether the file is validated. So Terraform validate is going to check, oh, the file, okay, it's valid. It doesn't guarantee the file that is going to run, but it does omit the first stage. Okay, yeah, you have passed this first stage. The other stages you still have to pass. So let me run Terraform apply for this. So I want to apply this, and it's going to create the instance again for us. You see. So they say they actually want to be about it. If I use auto approve, it's going to approve it automatically. So it says you're already creating the instance for us. So it's creating the instance. As you can see, the instance is being created, is being created. And okay. So it's creating, maximum takes like 45 seconds or less than that to create an instance. So it says done already. So if I say Terraform refresh, so it's just like going to refresh the states. Oh, the instance you created, are they still there? So that's what it actually does. You know, you might actually go back right in there and just probably delete or destroy it manually yourself. Okay, so it's actually telling me to enter a value for the AMI and stuff like that. So that's not what I want. Because I have actually changed that from that, so I have to specify it right in front again. So whatever it is that I do, I'll specify it in front of it. So it says the instance ID, everything is still right in there. So if I want to edit, I will just leave alone. I'm done with the editing. So that's how you go about it. That in the next video, we'll be talking about how to use a module, how to automate this code. Instead of me writing Terraform init, Terraform apply, Terraform, you can actually use Bash script to automate all this stuff yourself without even having to apply. You just need to do is run the file, and that's where everything is going to be automated himself. So thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube video so that I can really receive more updates when we upload the next one.